Shalom, giving all praises, honor, and glory unto Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Rakakwadash. Double honors unto the elders and apostles of great milestone that rule well. And shalom unto the 144,000 elect men of the nation of Israel and the rest of the elect that are destined to be saved. I'm the brother Kalab, and I'm from the GMS UK London Forecasters Camp, coming back at you with another edifying lesson, Lord willing. I'll be direct and to the point for those of who I spoke of. Now, this is going to be a very quick lesson, Lord willing. But to get to the point, I was out shopping recently, and I went into a shop over here in the UK, which is called JD Sports. And JD Sports is the shop where they sell a lot of the livery that a lot of young Jake wear over here in the UK. Let me break down that word livery for you, if I can get it here. It's like the phone's on sideways, so bear with me. Right, what's the meaning of the word of livery? Definition 5. A distinctive, so like it's sideways on the screen because I've got it on horizontal, but I'll read it out loud for you, right? Definition of livery: a distinctive uniform, badge, or device formerly provided for servants, right? Let me read that again, right? A distinctive uniform, badge, or device formerly provided for servants. I'll read more into this. A distinctive attire worn by an official, a member of a company, or guide, etc. There you go, right? Definition number 7, characteristic dress or outward appearance. So that's what the word livery means, right? Characteristic dress or outward appearance, or, as I said, definition 5, a distinctive uniform, badge, or device formerly provided for servants. Definition 6, a distinctive attire worn by an official, a member of a company, or guide, etc. There you go, right? So when I say the word livery, that's what I mean. So over here in the UK, there's a shop called JD Sports, which sells the livery that a lot of young Jake in the world wear. You know, be it, trainers, your Nike, your Adidas, your Jordan, your Air Jordans, your tracksuit bottoms, your tracksuit tops, all of that clothing apparel, your baseball caps, hoodies, all that stuff is sold over here in a shop called JD Sports. And that's where the vast majority of where a lot of young Jake shop. Now, here's the funny thing, right? This is all by design, because the apparel that young Jake and the world wear is all by design. And it's provided unto us by Esau, and Esau markets it towards young Jake predominantly. And then a lot of the marketing that they use to entice Jake into shopping in their shops contains a lot of Jake, be it Jake celebrities or just Jake models, such as this guy here, who's just a model, who they get to promote these items to the young Jake in the world. Now it's funny because a lot of Jake don't even realize that they're wearing a uniform. They think that they only wear a uniform when they go to work for Esau. But in a lot of respects, Esau projects the image he wants Jake to have in the world onto Jake, and Jake takes it and they run with it. For example, if you look at a lot of the colors that a lot of young Jake wear, oftentimes it's very muted colors. Your navy blues, your blacks, your grays, it's all very muted. And as I said, it all comes in the same style of tracksuit bottoms, trainers, hoodies, t-shirts, the baseball caps and stuff. Now, that isn't to say that if you wear these things you're wrong or you're going off or you're wicked. I'm not saying that, because I wear a lot of that stuff. I wear I like my Adidas. I got my Adidas trainers. I wear the what do you call it, tracksuit bottoms and hoodies and stuff. I wear a lot of that stuff. But I'm just pointing it out as a point to show that this image on the screen isn't by accident, because This image that you see on the screen here, they had this massive advert in the shop. This image was pasted on in the shop on a large poster, and what you saw is this image here, and this is why I took a photograph of it, because what have you got here, right? You've got a Jake twisting up his face in a contorted, grimace expression, and above it, it says unlike humans. So what are they trying to say here? What are the people who designed this image trying to say here? Basically, this goes back into the whole, scientific racism thing of, Jake is only 3/5 of a man. Yeah? So these same people who are selling you your hoodies, your baseball caps, your tracksuits, your trainers, which you brothers in America's probably call sneakers out there. We call them trainers over here, or you call them tennis shoes or sneakers. We call them trainers over here, right? Um, what you consider to be your Jordans, your Air Jordans, we call them trainers. Over there, you call them sneakers. Anyway, what is this image saying? It's basically projecting that scientific racism thing of that Jake is only 3/5 of a man. Because here you got this Jake with this contorted grimace looking like, some kind of monster. And it says, unlike humans. So they're basically saying that you, Jake, aren't even human. You're subhuman. You're less than even what a white man would be. Because if you notice, whenever they do images like this, you never get a white man or an Edomite, because there's no such thing as white people. You never get an Edomite posing for an image like this. They never portray Esau in this light. But you, Jake, they'll always do it. And you, Jake, think they are too dumb to even realize that you're being mocked here. You're all up in them shops, walking around doing what you're supposed to do, what you're programmed to do, wearing the livery that Esau's programmed you to wear, shopping in the shops where Esau's programmed you to shop, and here he is to your face, showing you what he thinks of you. Because don't get it twisted. What do you think Edomites think when they see images like this? Images like this further fuel Edomites' belief that, yeah, those damn niggers, oh, grimy niggas, typical dirty little black boy from the streets, This fuels into Esau's what do you call it? Self self-imposed idea of moral superiority over everybody else. And another thing, you never see the Moabite man on the advert like this, twisting up his face with a caption saying unlike humans above it. You never see the Arab man, the Ishmaelite man. You never see the what do you call it, Ammonite man. Who else is there? Moab, Ammon, Ishmaelite, the Edomite. You never see them doing this. It's always Jake. It's always Jake. And another thing as well is you got to understand is that there's a psychology to photography and composition in art, right? And I'm going to get into it a bit. Now, in normal life, when you talk to someone, there's a certain distance that's considered a neutral space. Like when you're talking to someone, you don't go right up in their face because that would be considered an invasion of one's privacy. If you get too close to a person and you're putting your face in their face, it's considered an invasion of privacy. In this photograph, what they've done is that they've positioned the camera so close to this Jake's face that when you look at it, it feels like he's coming up in your face. And that feels very aggressive and confrontational. And it also feels like an invasion of your space psychologically. That's the impact it has when you read this image. So this image is basically showing you, yeah, here's Jake coming up in your face, being aggressive, being threatening, being loud, being intimidating. All these things that Edomites tend to project onto Jake that they are. And above it, it says, unlike humans. What are they trying to say here? This advert they didn't just come up with this advert willy-nilly one day and think, yeah, we'll just post that up there. Nah, this was a long, as I've said before, when it comes to marketing, right, and advertising, these things are conceived in a boardroom where someone will have a concept for the pitch, and then they sit down and they storyboard it. They draw out little rough ideas of what they think it should look like. They design They come up with what clothes he's gonna wear, what hairstyle he's gonna have, if he's gonna have a gold tooth in his mouth and or whatever. Then they think of the environment that they're gonna set this image in. Then they think about the font that they're gonna use for the text above, what it's gonna be. It's all planned out. Probably 6 months worth of planning went in just into this one image, because everything you see in the background here, all these little trinkets in the shop or whatever is supposed to be set in, right? They all had to be designed and curated and made so that this photograph could be taken. So my point is that this isn't by coincidence, this isn't by chance, this is all by design. Oftentimes we talk about the movie The Matrix, right? And in the movie The Matrix, Morpheus shows Neo that the whole world that he's in has been a carefully constructed simulation in order to enslave people's minds. I say that to say this: never underestimate the fact or the level to which Esau has gone to design and control everything that you see around you, even down to the clothes that you wear. As I said, it's all carefully curated and it is designed to be the livery of the grimy street nigger, which is why there's a spirit to things. And this is probably another lesson that I'm going to do, because I was talking about this recently with a couple of brothers, is that there are spirits attached to certain articles of clothing. So you've got to be very careful about the things that you keep close to your person and on your body, because there could be spirits attached to articles of clothing. But that's another lesson for another time. But yeah, the point I'm making here is that, yeah, this is Esau trying to demonize Jake into being what he wants you to be. This is what he wants the world to see you as, because this is what he sees you as. And you gotta be smart to know that, hey, look, man, I ain't like that. I ain't like that. You know, you gotta come out of the world in the sense that you gotta understand that no, you're more than these Edomites. You're not less than. Deuteronomy 7 and verse 6 says, let me get it rather than roughly paraphrase it. Wait me a second. Actually, before I get that, there's a precept I wanted to read here, right? Psalms 50, verse 20. No, let's read Psalms 50 from verse 19. Thou givest thy mouth to evil, and thy tongue frameth deceit. Thou sittest and speakest against thy brother, thou slanderest thine own mother's son. Now I'm speaking about, well, I'm not speaking about, the scriptures here is speaking about Esau, right? These are the things that Esau has done. Let's read it again. Psalms 50 from verse 19. Thou givest thy mouth to evil, and thy tongue frameth deceit. Thou sittest and speakest against thy brother, thou slanderest thine own mother's son. These things hast thou done, and I kept silence. Thou thoughtest I was altogether such a one as thyself, but I will reprove thee and set them in order before thine eyes. So basically, Esau has been slandering Jake for the longest time. As I've said, with all these things, you know, they're niggers, they're filthy, they're animals, they're less than 3/5 of a man. They, you know, they're all they ever do is crime, and you know they're loud and obnoxious and aggressive and threatening and all these things, right? These are all the slanders that Esau has cast at Jake, right? But what's happening right now is that the Most High is taking Jake, right, in the form of the brothers that are in this truth, the 144,000 men, the elect of the nation of Israel, and he's taken them out of this lower state, and he's setting them in order before Esau's eyes and before the other nations' eyes. Yeah, and that's the time that we're in. We're coming out of this projected scientific racism, and we're actually showing that we are the sons of the living power, right? And that's causing great fear to fall upon our enemies, and that's why Esau has to do images like this in order to keep trying to slander us and keep that projected image upon us. But we're breaking out of that image. We're breaking out of that projection. This is Deuteronomy 7 and verse 6. It says, For thou art a holy people unto the Lord Yahweh thy power. The Lord thy power hath chosen thee to be a special people unto himself, above all people that are upon the face of the earth. The Lord Yahweh did not set his love upon you, nor choose you, because you were more in number than any people, for you were the fewest of all people, but because the Lord loved you, and because you would keep the oath which he had sworn unto your fathers, have the Lord brought you out with a mighty hand, and redeemed you out of the house of bondmen, from the hand of Pharaoh, king of Egypt. Yeah, so that's why Esau, in order to try and combat this truth about who we are, which is the sons of the living power, he has to keep pushing out images like this in order to try and keep that projection on Jake that we're subhuman creatures, as the caption here says, unlike humans. Only 3/5 of a man. Yeah? So Lord willing, that's been an edifying lesson, just something that I observed and saw and wanted to highlight. Lord willing, it's edifying to the elect of those, or the elect of the nation of Israel. So yeah, I'm going to end it there. So Shalom, once again, giving all praises, honor, and glory unto Yahweh, Bahashem Yahweh Shai, Bahashem Rachakodash, double honors unto the elders and apostles of Great Millstone that rule well. And Shalom unto the 144,000 elect men of the nation of Israel, and the rest of the elect that are destined to be saved. And I'll catch you on the next lesson, Lord willing. Shalom for now.